It's going to be another reaction video, but this reaction video will be the 9 horror stories animated. So yeah, let's get into the video. True hide and seek horror story.
I have 3 sisters, Crystal, Kiara, and Melissa. I'm the youngest and only boy. Growing up, we lived in a haunted house.
Must be terrible.
In fact, the neighborhood was haunted. All the neighbors had experiences. Apparently, it was all built over a military grave site, but I'm not sure how true that is. This was years ago. I was about 5, I think, and my sisters were around their early teens. Our cousin, Vincent, who we call Vincy, was staying over. He's the same age as my sisters. We used to play hide and seek with all the lights in the house turned off.
Okay, if you're playing hide and seek in the dark, yeah, someone's bound to get creeped out. I know I would. I'd get the hell out of there. I mean, I wouldn't even play hide and seek in the dark.
Apart from any room our parents were in. So this night was going great. The only source of light was a flashlight that the seeker had. Crystal was usually found quickly because she had, and still has, really long curly red hair, and it almost glowed bright orange in the light. Kiara has long straight blonde hair, so she was found quickly too. But Melissa and I have black hair, so we could blend in better. However, this night, Kiara was the seeker. She found us fairly quickly and only had Vincy to find. So she went to our parents' room and shined the light inside. Our parents had 2 white wardrobes that were attached on either side of a white dressing table, with a mirror on top of it. Kiara could see one of the wardrobe doors was slightly opened, and inside of it, in the darkness, she could see eyes staring out at her. She laughed and shouted, "Found you, Vincy!" But the eyes didn't move. They just stared at her. "I see you, Vincy!" She laughed again. Suddenly, on the opposite side of the room, the curtains of the window flew open, and Vincy jumped from the window ledge laughing. Kiara looked at him in confusion. But I thought... Suddenly the confusion turned to fear when she...
Oh, that gave me the chills, that. Oh, I've got chills now after that. Oh. Oh my god, imagine just seeing eyes, like, in your closet. Oh. And that is why I never open my closet door. Ever.
Looked back at the wardrobe. The eyes were still there, wide and staring at Vincy, but then slowly looked back in her direction. Kiara screamed and quickly turned on the room light, and they could both now see that the wardrobe was empty. Nobody hiding, no pets, no boxes, nothing. Hide and seek in the dark soon became a memory after that.
Oh. Okay. A creepy.
This happened
abandoned,
a few weeks ago.
Whatever.
I live in California, and have always been good friends with this kid named Ethan. We had all the same interests, so we got along great. But that's besides the point. There's this old abandoned house a few blocks away that has been vacant for years. I have no idea why it was never fixed and sold. The point is, it's abandoned. All the neighborhood kids are always telling rumors about the place, and to be honest with you, I never thought they could be true. The house was creepy as fuck, though.
Yeah, what he said. Definitely creepy as hell. I mean, I've always seen YouTubers go to abandoned places and they always give me the chills. Like, whenever I go to one, it just feels like someone is watching me. Oh, it gives me the chills.
So one night, while Ethan was staying at my house for the night, we decided to sneak out at like 1 a.m. to explore
1
the place.
a.m.
We brought along our phones for flashlights and to record. So we rode our bikes down the block and found the house. It was 2 stories high and made of brick, with broken windows and an overgrown lawn. Basically all the natural traits of an abandoned house.
I see a black figure in the
Ethan
window.
and I hid our bikes in a bush and went around the backside. Oddly enough, the back door was unlocked. One of the rumors is that local homeless people, drug addicts, and gang members all hang out here. So the fact that someone seemed to have been here kind of freaked us out.
Yeah, it freaks
Inside,
me out
it
now.
smelled like shit. It was so dark that if it weren't for our flashlights, we definitely wouldn't have been able to see anything. We walked through what appeared to be a kitchen, around through a living room, into a foyer. Just as we were about to go upstairs, there was a sudden, loud thump. Ethan and I both jumped and stood frozen. Dude, I think someone's up there, I whispered to Ethan. Yeah, no kidding, he said back. Let's check it out. Dude, are you fucking crazy? I said. But Ethan either didn't hear or ignored me, as he was already halfway up the stairs. As much as I did not want to go up there, I decided to anyways because there was no way in hell I was staying down in the dark alone. We got upstairs and heard an identical thump down the hall. Holding up my phone to continue recording, I reluctantly followed Ethan down there. We approached the doorway and glanced through to see someone standing by the window.
I knew it.
It was so dark, all we could make out was a brown sweater he was wearing.
I knew I saw a figure in the window. Oh my god. I was right. It was a figure.
We knew he had to know we were here, because we had already shown the flashlight on him. Ethan began to cautiously walk towards the guy. I stood back by the doorway. Ethan walked up to the guy, strained his body to look at his face, and screamed. He shoved the guy, who fell to the floor, stiff like a statue, and grabbed my shirt collar as he tugged me away from there. I dropped my phone as we nearly trampled each other running down the stairs and out the back door. Got on our bikes and pedaled fast as possible back home. Apparently, when Ethan had walked up to the stiff man, he realized that the man was some sort of taxidermied human, with black sockets where his eyes had been taken out.
Oh my god. Oh, that looks so creepy. Oh, I'm gonna have nightmares now.
At the same time, he heard a crack in the floorboards from across the room, and saw the silhouette of a man huddled in a dark corner watching him. We had the nerve to go back to the house a few days later to try and find my phone, but it was gone, as the taxidermy human and whoever was in that house. We didn't dare report it to the police for fear of getting busted for breaking and entering and sneaking out at night.
Yeah.
I know. I guess that sounds stupid now. Ethan and I are still great friends in high school, and this memory is still one we will never forget for as long as we live.
Oh hell. So this one's called a creepy deep web horror story.
A few years ago, while I was in high school, the deep web was becoming very popular. I never really got into it until my friend told me about it because he was into that weird stuff. One day after school, I had nothing to do, so I went onto the browser tour. I didn't really see much, so I called my friend over so he could help me out. Once he got to my house, we started searching more and more. We saw a lot of drugs and illegal weapons, stuff like that. Then he clicked on a link that was in the chat room. And the link said, watch this. As we're sitting there, we're just staring at the screen that went from black to the outside of a building within a few seconds.
Oh,
And out of
damn.
nowhere, a sticky note that said, want to see something cool? So then I typed, yeah, sure. What was weird was the guy wouldn't type. He just showed sticky notes in the camera. And he also never spoke. All of a sudden, the camera started moving toward the building that it was facing. As we're watching him move toward the building, we noticed that the building was in our neighborhood. Then he quit moving and put another sticky note that said LOL. That kind of creeped me out. And then a person entered the building, which was eerily dark.
That creeped me out.
The
I
camera
know.
stopped at a padlocked door and then unlocked it and opened it. The camera moved toward the back of this dark room, and there was a dog bowl on the floor. Now at this point, the camera was only facing the dog bowl. A few moments later, whoever the person was that was holding the camera put something in the bowl that looked like just slop. Honestly, it looked like feces. Then you hear another door open, and a girl crying in the background, along with a chain dragon. This girl shows up in the camera crying.
Oh, that ain't good. Are these guys like kidnappers and stuff? Every time I'm out with my mates, and I always get paranoid about this stuff. So that's why I'm always with a big group of friends.
With a chain around her neck. And the guy shoved her face in the bowl and puts a sticky note in front of the camera that said, cool, right? Then the screen goes black.
No!
We sat there
Not
for about
cool.
10 minutes in disbelief, but the stream was still live.
Oh,
Then out of
Jesus.
nowhere, the camera was back on. Then it was in the corner of
Oh.
the street. Then another sticky note that said 545 East 99th Street off of St. Clair. That was my address. Then another sticky note
Okay.
that said open the door.
I would just get off that website and move to a different country. I ain't trying to get murdered. I ain't trying to get killed today.
We
Jesus
sat there
Christ.
confused, then out of nowhere, a knock at the door. I grabbed my friend,
Oh,
jumped up, and we both ran to the back door. Then we heard a knock at that door right before I grabbed the handle. At that point, we had someone at the back door and someone at the front door knocking. We were
okay,
stuck.
there are two guys.
Critical thinking wasn't my strength at that point. We ran upstairs, called the cops, and locked ourselves in my room. The cops showed up, but no one was outside. Only items that the cops found were 100 sticky notes, all with my address written on them. I told the cops about the building with the girl, and they found it. The girl was 14 and had been missing for 5 weeks. We moved out of that house within a week. But I
Smart.
never visited the deep or the dark web again.
Yeah. So this one's called Creepy Man Following Me Home. From the... whatever.
One day, when I was in the sixth grade, on a rainy day, I was walking home.
The hell was that?
On my walk, which was about a mile or so long, I had to walk through a cemetery. Not a stereotypical, shabby, haunted one, but one that had many people walking through and was usually full of maintenance employees.
Every time, like, we see, I see a graveyard, like, they always give me the chills. Get the chills all the time.
I remember walking by a group of them sitting on benches
Hey
on
guys,
the bridge.
I'm sorry I'm pausing so much.
As he stood up and started walking at a fair distance. After a bit, I looked back at him and he looked down quickly. He was in the same baby blue uniform as the others, and had a gray beard, but I made out a name tag, Frank P. As the other workers faded from sight, he was still behind me. I began to worry. A moment later, he called out, "It's wet, huh?" in a friendly voice. I chuckled politely and agreed. My worries increased a second later when I walked out and he was still behind me. I was close to my house now and it started to pour. My house in sight, I started jogging to get there. I glanced back and I saw the man, visibly angry, start running. As my house got closer, I began to sprint. I didn't look back as I slung the key on my backpack and opened the door. I looked behind me. I saw the man in the middle of the street. I walked over to the phone and dialed 911. Before I called, I looked out the window. He was gone. I told my mom what happened when she got home. She didn't believe me. That night, I couldn't sleep. There was lightning outside, and I could see occasional shadows from the flashes through my window in my living room. I lay watching the flashes when I saw a strange outline. I looked closer and saw an outline of a man. I stood up and walked out of my room. I walked into the living room. It was completely dark outside. I stood in the doorway and waited. A car's headlights illuminated the pale, shallow face of Frank P. I ran into my room and locked the door. I never saw him after that night. But whenever I see that baby blue uniform, I think back to that night and that haunting image of a skeletal, unnatural face of Frank P.
True bathroom horror story. Gay.
This is a true horrifying incident that happened to me when I was very young. The year was 2007, and I was an 8-year-old girl studying at a primary school. The school was old, and it was built after the war and Japanese invasion in my country. I heard that there were Japanese army men and local people killed on the land brutally, and many teachers and students claim that they have encountered paranormal activity. Although I've never seen anything paranormal at the school, this place still gave me a creepy vibe. My class was located on the second floor, just beside the girls' bathroom.
Yeah. Alright, one of I think it was one of my friends told me her dad, was it her dad's friend or was it her mom's friend? I don't know, but like my school, well, one of her, her dad's friend, when he was in high school, the same school that I go to now, apparently killed himself. I don't know all the details.
Bathroom. The chilling part is we could see an old cemetery park from there before entering the bathroom.
Jeez.
One day, when I was studying in my class, I wanted to pee. So, I asked the teacher's permission and went to the bathroom. I got into the first stall and locked the door. There was no light or anyone in there. It was just me. Everything was silent until suddenly, someone banged and kicked the door that was in front of me. I was in shock and froze for the first seconds. I don't know why, but I didn't scream for my life. I just quickly pushed against the door so the person wouldn't break in. After a few minutes, the banging stopped. I waited for a few more minutes and opened the door. There was no one in there. I walked out, ready to go back to my classroom. Then, I saw a student with broad shoulders and chocolate skin standing opposite of my direction. He was looking at me with a smile on his face. I froze because he was one of my classmates, and he actually sat near me. I think after he saw me go out of the bathroom, he followed me, and that was him inside. I quickly returned to my classroom and didn't speak of anything about it to anyone. The student went in and sat down quietly. I cannot recall his name, but I still remember this incident even now. I will never forget this horrifying experience. I wonder what would have happened to me if I didn't lock the door, or if he had successfully broken in that day. This happened a few months ago when my family and I were driving back from my aunt's house in Carmel. The sun was slowly starting to set as we continued driving. As my mom started to get tired of driving, my dad spotted a nice-looking hotel that was pushed back in the forest. My mom pulled over and we walked towards the hotel. The place seemed nice, but I had a bad feeling about the hotel. My dad asked the lady at the front desk if there were any spare rooms that we could stay in for the night. The lady surprisingly said yes, but that our shower was broken and that unfortunately they wouldn't be able to fix it. But she said we could use the community showers on the second floor. We took the elevator up to our room and set down our things.
Because the shower isn't working, you had to use a community shower.
As I walked to the showers, I realized that they were much different than normal showers. To start off, there was a door connecting the boys' community showers to the girls' community showers. Secondly, instead of shower curtains, they had glass doors. So much for privacy.
Oh,
As I looked around, I realized the showers
no
were
privacy
completely
there.
empty. I thought to myself, if I took a quick shower, I wouldn't have to worry about anyone walking in. I hopped in and washed myself. As time went on, the glass started to get very foggy and I couldn't see anything outside. I heard the door that connected the boys' showers to the girls' showers open. Why the hell would a boy want to come in here? Since I couldn't see anything, I decided to wipe my hand on the glass to get rid of the fog.
Not a good
As
idea.
I did that, I saw a homeless man in his mid-40s
Ew.
with hair. With his
That's
face
creepy.
directly in the glass looking at me with a smirk. As I looked down, I saw he was holding a large kitchen knife. I screamed and I opened the glass door as fast as I could, knocking the guy to the ground. I quickly grabbed a
Good job.
towel and ran out. I ran to our room and told my parents what happened. They immediately called the police and they arrived and searched the showers. They found him knocked out in the same position I had knocked him out in. Apparently, he was a registered sex offender and even went as far as to raping a girl my age. They
Holy
arrested
hell.
him and I'm not sure what they did after that. This story still terrifies me to this day, and I never went back to the hotel in fear that I might see him again.
My name is Victor, and I'm 23 years
Hi,
old.
Victor.
I have a story that happened
No,
when
damn
I
it.
was 17 years old. I work as a carpenter at a local building company, and this happened at the period when I was a trainee for the same company. We were renovating a very old apartment building from around the 1960s that was going to be school classrooms for a school that had bought the building. As many carpenters, we were working on Friday, which basically means that we started earlier the rest of the week, so we could go home early on Fridays, which means it was a lot of very early mornings. So, one day, I was on my way to work at about 4:30 in the morning. I was walking the usual way to my bus. It was about 1 kilometer. It was through the block I was living on, and then through a small path in the forest, about 200 meters. By this time in the morning, it was still pitch black, because it was winter and I live in Sweden, so the path through the forest was like a black hole. So I grabbed my phone and put the flashlight on, an old iPhone
Good idea.
4S by the way, and began walking the small path.
Alright.
About halfway on the path, I heard a crackling noise from my right, and flashed my light in the direction and saw nothing. I just figured it was an animal or something. At the end of the path, I heard
Watch out,
the
you might
crackling
get
noise again.
attacked
This
by a
time,
bear.
it was much closer. I had always been a little paranoid in the dark, but was trying to get over it.
I'm always
But I
paranoid
began
in the
walking a
dark.
little faster anyway, keeping an eye behind me the whole time. When I arrived at the bus station, I sat down, waiting for the bus, and was saying to myself that I was a coward for being so paranoid about a small sound I heard.
You
I
ain't
could see the
coward.
forest I walked through from the bus station, because it was only about 50 meters from the station. And when I looked at the path, I saw a man standing behind a tree, right under a streetlight.
Okay, that's not creepy at
To
all.
the right of the path, and he He was clearly watching me. He was wearing black pants and an old light blue, almost pastel-colored jacket, like it was from the 80s. I felt a bit sick when I realized he was watching me, even though it was only for about 20 seconds before I saw the bus arriving from around the corner. I immediately felt relief when I saw the bus, so I stepped on the bus, and it was as usual completely empty. I sat at the back of the bus and looked back at the forest to see if the man was still there, but he wasn't. When the bus began to take off, I heard a thud right beside my window. I quickly looked to the side and saw an arm reaching up to my window, waving at me. And the arm was wearing a light blue jacket. I didn't have time to see his face because he was wearing a hood, and the bus had already taken off. On the way down to downtown, I tried not to think about the man, but it was so hard because it was so weird, and something like that had never happened to me before. I eventually got off the bus at my bus stop and began walking to the building where I had my working clothes and my gear. It was really close to my bus stop, so it only took me maybe about 5 minutes to walk there. When I arrived at the door to the building, I grabbed my key and was about to put it in the keyhole when I saw in the corner of my eye, peeking out from the building's corner, that man in the light blue jacket standing, looking at me. I quickly unlocked the door, ran inside, locked it behind me. After that, it was 2 more doors. Both needed an access card, so nobody without the card could get inside. After the first door, it was a long hallway. To the left, only lit up by a few lights in the roof, and a ring in front of you. It was the second door that led to my locker in the coffee room. I ran as fast as I could. I was shaking at this time. There was no way I could think of how he could have got down here so fast. I put on some coffee and changed to my working clothes. It was completely quiet in the room. It felt like hours before my coworkers showed up. When they finally showed up, I felt the best feeling in a long time. When it was time to get started with working, we began walking towards the elevator that led up to the top floor, which we were currently working on. When we arrived at the top floor, I realized I forgot my helmet in the locker. So I took the elevator down, went through the 2 doors, and got my helmet, and was making my way back up to the others. When I had opened the first door and was standing in the dark hallway, I froze. I heard someone whispering my name from the back of the hallway. I looked down the hallway and saw the same man, the same light blue jacket. He was standing there looking at me. Then he said something I will never forget. "You look so peaceful when you sleep, Victor," he said in a deep but shaking voice. I felt my whole world shatter when he said that. Then I ran for it. I opened the door and slammed it behind me. I ran to the elevator and smashed the button to the top floor. It felt like I was going 100 floors before I got to the top. I ran to the others and told them what happened. They just laughed at me and thought I was silly, saying that nobody can get in there without a card. I planned to call the police, but I didn't for some reason. Probably because I didn't want to look like a coward in front of the others. Eventually, I never saw that man again. I don't know if I was hallucinating or he was really there. I have no idea. But I never walked the same path to my bus again, and I always sleep with my curtains down, even to this day.
Jeez. Smiling man.
I was 10 years old, and I was home alone. But that wasn't a big deal because we lived in a small city. My mom and dad were at my grandma's house. I couldn't go because I was sick. It was around 9 p.m. when I was about to go to sleep. My room was really small, and it only had one window facing my bed. That window to me was kind of scary, because when you're a little kid, your imagination can sometimes go wild. At that time, it wasn't my imagination, though. Like I said, I was about to go to bed when I heard a loud scream coming from outside. It was really scary.
Okay.
I tried to be quiet so I could listen to what was going on outside. Nothing was happening, though. It was really quiet. Like nothing had happened at all. Quieter than normal, actually. Some time had passed, and everything seemed okay. So I just laid down and tried to sleep. 1 hour later, I heard that loud scream again. But this time, it seemed to be closer. I froze. I was so freaked out I couldn't even move. 30 minutes later, again, the same scream. At that point, I was about to cry. I don't know why, but that scream wasn't just a scream. It was at this high pitch, and it was just so creepy. Finally, 15 minutes later, I saw something at that window. It was a really skinny woman, and she seemed so happy for some reason. She was smiling, and her smile was so big and creepy. When I saw her, I started crying, and she started screaming again. I was horrified. She was just looking at me, smiling and screaming for the whole night. The next morning, my parents came back home, and I told them everything. They called the police, and the police found out that my window that was facing my bed was broken. But it didn't seem like it was broken with some sort of weapon, but as if it were broken by a really high pitch.
Creepy guy hiding in my...
I was 10 at the time this happened. I loved my bedroom, since it had a TV, a bed, and a closet with my computer on my desk. One night when I was sleeping, I heard a noise coming from my closet, which kind of woke me up. I didn't mind it at all because I was still trying to fall back asleep to go to school tomorrow. 3 hours later, after I woke up and ate breakfast, I was getting ready to pack my bag, which was in my bedroom, for school. When I got in my room and packed my bag, I looked at the window and saw some tall black figure in a hoodie outside of my bedroom window.
Okay.
My heart dropped. And when I said, "Who in the world is that?" the figure ran away. I didn't see the figure's face since he was wearing a black hoodie, and it was a little dark outside since it was 5 a.m. in the morning. After I came back from school, I was on my phone researching for my school project. Suddenly, I heard a loud tap on the window. It was that figure again, and this time I saw his face. He was a man in his late 40s. He had wrinkly skin and had black hair. He smiled at me and said, "Hey, want some candy? Come outside."
Oh, hell no!
Give you some. He laughed.
I don't want none of y'all dumbass candy.
He ran to the front door and made a mistake by standing there because my dad was going to go to work. And he opened the front door and yelled at him to get the hell off his property or he'll call the police. I rushed to my dad and told him he'd been outside of my bedroom window stalking me. He was about to call the police when he realized he didn't want me to get scared that I was going to get kidnapped or something. So he said he would install security cameras. The only reason why I didn't scream when he was outside of my bedroom window is because that I thought it was one of my friends trying to study with me. But I thought to myself, why the hell would any of my friends want to study at 5 a.m. in the morning? And none of my friends were really that tall. That night, I heard someone laughing in my closet. I didn't open my eyes, but I was scared to death. Since I heard that he was scratching the bedroom closet with something that sounded kind of like a knife. I waited a minute or two until I built up my courage to make a run for it and screamed for my life while I ran to my parents' bedroom and locked the door. I explained to them what happened and there was someone in my closet. My mom called 911 and the guy was saying stuff like, "Come out and I won't make your parents watch as I stab you." And that was the
Jesus
thing that
Christ,
made me
that's
so
creepy
scared
as hell.
because my brain was alerting me that he did have a knife. Seconds later, we heard sirens, and me and my parents heard the police bust the door yelling, "Police, drop your weapon and put your hands up." Me and my parents were relieved that he was gone. I was very lucky that my closet was far away from my bed. It turned out that the guy was a crazy mental guy who escaped from his mental hospital by stabbing the security guards and breaking out.
Oh,
From now
that's
on, my
creepy.
parents have set up security cameras in each and every room, and also outside. Who knows what would have happened to me if I didn't hear him laughing in my closet? Would I have been stabbed to death?
Oh
Or
yeah.
what if he was hiding under my bed?
Oh.
Since that day, I still don't know how we got in my parents' house. Maybe my mom or dad forgot to lock the front door. Or he got in from my bedroom window.
Oh hell no! Creepy as hell. So yeah, guys. Ooh, that was the 9 horror animated stories. Most of them creep me out actually. So yeah, make sure to give this video a big old thumbs up, or subscribe to the channel for more horror stories. And I will see you in the next video. Stop texting me!